So guys, to make this short, I have a plain paper here I'll be using to draft the pattern. And the first thing I'm doing here is to rule a start line. This is where I would be taking all my measurements from. So I started out by marking my waist to hip point, which is 8.5 inches. And I also took my crotch depth measurement. So not long after, I realized I should have marked my elastic waistband case first. So I'm going to be making use of about 2 inches for my waist band before I start taking any measurement on this paper. So just ignore the marks I made earlier. Now from that 2-inch point, I'm going to start taking my measurements, and I'm taking my hip point and my crotch depth measurement, which is 12 inches. So to get your crotch depth line, all you need to do is to take your round hip measurement and divide it by 4, and that's how you get your crotch depth line. And you add about 2 inches because I want it free. Then for the full length of this pant, I'm making use of 16 inches. Then I added 1 inch for sewing allowance. So now I'm going to extend all this line. And please take note, for the crotch depth line, even if you are making your pants, your shorts free, use that round hip measurement. If you added 2 inches to your hip measurement because you want it free, make sure you are using that new round hip measurement divided by 4 to get your crotch line so that it will be accurate. So as you can see now, I'm going to label these lines. I have this as my elastic band, my case for my elastic band. I'm also going to label, and I'm also trying to cross check that I have 8.5 inches there, and I'll label it hip line. So guys, I did not know my camera was not taking this this angle of the paper, so I'm sorry about that. I was just trying to label the lines so that the tutorial is easy to follow. And guys, as you can see, for the full length I used 16 inches, and I added 1 more inch for allowance. So make sure you're taking all these measurements from your elastic case point. So this is what it looks like after I finish putting all the labels, and I'll start taking my measurements at this point. So the first point I will go to is my hip line. I will measure my round hip measurement divided by 4. Guys, so my round hip measurement divided by 4 is 9.5. I will just mark a little point there. I'll also add 1 inch for ease. Then I'll add 1 inch for sewing allowance, and at that point I will put a mark there. So whatever I have there, I will transfer it to the waistline, and I'll mark it there and create a straight line. So just follow what I'm doing, and you find out that it's really easy to make an elastic short. So once that line has been extended to the waist point, all I need to do now is to take my waist measurement from that point coming towards the back part. So just observe what I'm doing. So from that point, I'll take my waist measurement divided by 4. My waist measurement divided by 4 is 7 inches. But because I'll be adding an elastic to this waist, I need to add some allowance. So I'll be adding about 3 inches, which makes it 10. And then I'll add 1 inch for sewing allowance, which makes it 11 inches. So I'll mark at that point, and I would connect it to the hip line. So once that is done, I'm going to extend the line as well to get to the crotch line. Just extend that line like that so that we can get our crotch extension. And now to get your crotch extension, there are 2 ways you can do this. You either mark your round thigh measurement divided by 2 on that line, or you divide by 4. You divide what you have there on that line by 4. So after taking my measurements, I had 12 inches, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. This means I'll be extending that line by 3 inches. And after marking 3 inches, the 3 inches mark, I would simply create a curve from that point to join with that straight line. And this gives us our crotch extension. And after that, I'll just drop down the line like this, If you want your shorts wider, you can extend it towards the right a bit, but I'm just going to bring this down. Then I'll highlight all these lines and I would go ahead and cut. So once I'm done cutting out, I'm going to bring my fabric, and I'm working with this fabric. I had limited fabric to work with, so I would just place this fabric like this on this paper. I'll just place the paper on the fabric and I'll cut exactly what I have there. And when I'm done cutting, this is what I have. I did not add any extra allowance because I had already done that while drafting the pattern. So to cut out the back part of this short, make sure your fabric is wider with about 4 inches, and on the top make sure it is higher with about 2 inches. So I told you I was managing my fabric, but just make sure when you want to do yours, you have enough fabric on the sides and at the top. So at the top part of this short, I'm going to extend it by 1 inch. If the person has a bigger bum, make sure it's up to 2 inches at the top, so you slant it down to the side of the short like that. And on the side, I'm adding about 2 inches extra. And on that crotch line extension, make sure you have 3 inches or whatever you added as your crotch extension line. So you are adding to the back part because we have our bum at the back of our bodies. So we need more room to accommodate. So after cutting, this is what I have. I'm going to open because we do not cut on a fold when we are cutting shorts or trousers. So I'm going to mark the back part, the wrong part of this fabric, so that I don't get confused. And I'm going to take the wrong side of the fabric like this, and I will sew. And at that point, I'm going to leave 1/2 inch. So this means I'm joining the 2 front pieces, and I'll repeat the same thing for the 2 back pieces. So after doing that, this is what I have. I'm just going to face them right sides, facing right sides. And you'll notice the back is obviously bigger. Don't fret, it's not an issue. Just make sure you pin them to match at the sides and you join by 1/2 inch. So after doing this, I'm gonna show you what it looks like, and this is what the shorts look like. If you have any excess, just cut it out. Your excess should not be more than 1/2 inch anyways. So once you're done with that, only the bottom part will be open. Now what you need to do is to match these lines at the bottom to match up like this. Then you stitch and you join them together, and this is what you're supposed to get when you do that. So as you can see, the lines match at the bottom of the short, and that's what's expected of you. So at this point, you'll notice that your waist measurement is bigger than what you should normally have for your round waist. This is because I'll be adding an elastic, and by the time I attach the elastic, it is going to shrink and go back to normal. So this is what's left, and to hem the bottom part of the short. So just fold your bottom part like this 2 times and hem the edges like this. And once that is done, give this a good press and attach your elastic. So I have a detailed video on how to attach an elastic to your short, and I'm going to drop the link in the description box. So make sure you watch that video. And as you can see, my short is 16 inches, just as I wanted it. So I'll bring the pattern now and I'll show you that from the elastic case, I expected my short to be 16 inches as full length, and that is what I got. So thank you for watching this video to this point. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up